Now with the European Union officially mandating a requirement for RGB inside of your PC, I was in a lot of trouble. I did not have enough LEDs. And that's why I was so glad that GELID, that was why I was so happy that they reached out and sent us a whole bunch of their stuff. First off, we had the Glacier RGB, which was basically a dual tower cooler using two of their stellar fans, which are conveniently RGB. Then we had a total of 9 additional stellar fans, which have 24 RGB or 24 LEDs per fan. 10 would be 240 minus 24. 220, 216, 216 LEDs plus 2 times 24 we have on the cooler. We are already pretty freaking far. But they also sent a bunch of their more special stuff, the stuff I would call weird. First off, we have the glint. It's an RGB adapter or RGB top cover for a M.2 SSD. It's just RGB. What we are doing today is just pressing RGB into a single build. But then they also sent something that was quite interesting. It's called a stabilo, but not like the pen stabilo that we used in primary school. No, this is a GPU anti-sag bracket with RGB and everything. I mean, okay, yeah, sure. Then we've also got their Amber 5 RGB and PVM, by the way. It can support 5 PVM fans and 5 ARGB devices, so that's to control everything up here. And I just realized I have 5 connections, and there we have a lot more stuff, but we will see with adapters and stuff. Then we will come to the usual stuff. We have my Intel 12900K, which we'll reuse for this build, solely because I have still not used it as my editing rig, so it's available. A Samsung 970 Pro. Then we got some Trident Z memory, because, you know, RGB. This is supposed to be an RGB build, so that's what we will do. And then we will use something that I will surely be called upon in the comment section afterwards. We will use the B660 Steel Legend. Now, I know it's a B660 motherboard, and this is a 12900K. I know that's stupid, but I will still do it because I really want to use it in something and just, you know, show up in the B-rolls and stuff. For the power supply, I'm quite happy because Be Quiet did not want us to, you know, reuse the same random ass power supply over and over again, so they send us the new Pure Power 11, yeah, 1000 watts. It's a bigger power supply, which will be great because we have a lot of stuff to connect here. I mean, just look at, yeah, you can see it anymore, but just look at this amount of RGB. Now for the last part, we need a case, and although we just used exactly this one a couple of weeks prior, I still believe that this is the best candidate, because that way I can, you know, show off all of the RGB and then everything. We have a semi-translucent front, we have enough fan support and because of the white bracket I can repurpose my 3070 vision, which will be nice. So yeah, we will use Montech Sky 1, exactly. So yeah, let's get to it. Oh boy, I realized I just did a little oopsie. So first off, we used the 3070 Vision, if that wasn't obvious enough. Then I've got an issue. I wanted to use the B660 Steel Legend, however, the GELID Glacier does not come yet with a LGA 1700 mounting. It does come, however, with 1200 mounting, and the B660 board has 1700 only mounting, while the Z690 Strix ROG whatever has that very useful feature of coming with both mounting systems. That's why, again, like the 5th time now, I'm putting the B660 aside and we are repurposing again my ROG Strix whatever from Asus. Yeah. This also means that we are basically repeating the same build again. Just this time using a different cooler, but still, I mean, we had the we did use what was it called, the Cooler Master Liquid ML240, which was clearly not enough cooling power to cool down the 12700K. The Arctic Freezer 34, however, was more than enough, was slightly enough. Now we will basically see how the whole build turns out if we stuff it with RGB fans and with GELID's Glacier RGB cooler. But before we do that, we also need to solve the issue that I have now created regarding the usage of this GELID Glint, which I really wanted to use because, you know, this is an all RGB build. The problem is that there is no M.2 drive exposed on the Asus board. So what I will do now is basically remove the cover of one of them, and we will just use the motherboard without the cover, which will basically reveal the M.2 SSD beneath it. Okay, let's have a look at what we got out of the box. First off, here we have the drive, and here we have everything coming in that GELID box. Basically this top part, which does the RGB part, and something like a bracket, and a bunch of thermal pads, and this. To make one thing very, very clear here, you do not need to cool an M.2 SSDs. These things do not run that hot, and as far as I know, there even can be issues if you cool it down far enough. We will not do that, but we will put this on, and I'm sure this will somehow lower the temperature for a degree or what, but I am 100% sure that the benefit produced by that cooling power is negligible at best and probably completely useless at worst. So what I think we are looking at right now is just RGB. Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah, great job there. So if I put my SSD like this. Okay, so coming out of this, we have an ARGB connector, we have a male one for daisy chaining, and apparently we have some kind of proprietary stuff. Okay, I have absolutely no clue where this is supposed to be going. Ta-da! Yeah, first of all, while putting it in, I realized that I had the SSD mounted in the wrong way, which, yeah, great job there. I had to redo everything. Then I realized that the SSD that I wanted to use here was not long enough to cover everything here. So that's why I decided to take off the bracket in the bottom for the two SSDs, and we will just put it here and pretend like there was no bracket. And we will put the other one back on, because that's just, it doesn't look very clean now there. Yeah, let's hope nobody will notice during the B-roll. Cooler time. Let's just hope I put all the installation material back in. Oh yeah, and don't forget some of that GELID GC Extreme. GELID Cooling Extreme, I guess. I don't know, it's good. That's already quite a lot of RGB for a build which is not even nearly finished. Yeah, and this time we'll maybe try to install this thing without doing a backflip. That would be, no, great improvement from my part. Something that I did not realize when I put together all of the components for today's build is, that's close call. That's the fact that the Montech Sky 1 already comes with an anti-sag bracket, but we will still use the one provided by GELID, just, you know, RGB and stuff. And I will just pretend like this one doesn't exist. I will put it on the side and pretend like I'm better at planning than I'm actually am. Now for the cables, we also got a little treat. We have Bitphoenix to send over their new aluminum comp extension cable kit. Apparently even ready for 3090s or 1600 XTs. So yeah, amazing, and thanks to Bitphoenix for sending it over, and I'm really sure that this will look pretty freaking awesome. Okay, now it's fan time, and unfortunately for me it's not that easy. We have 3 fans already unpacked. That means that empty box. That means that I still have way too many of them to unbox. There's a lot of Stellar fans. So yeah, I guess let's put them in. Well, I don't know if anybody really asked the question, but the answer is 9. You can put 9 Stellar fans into a Montech Sky 1, and I still have 2 fans left. If GELID would have, for example, included the brackets for a triple fan setup, like they advertised on the fucking box, I could have put it here, but I don't have the brackets because they don't include them, so I will not be able to do that. Before we start to make the worst cable management job I ever have had to do in the back of this case, fortunately with the controller, but still. But before we do that, we will have a look at that RGB GPU anti-sag bracket. I never thought I was going to use these words. Okay, with probably the worst packaging job I have ever seen. Yeah, I will probably not repurpose this box, but okay, this is what we are starting off with. We have, those are the pieces that are keeping the GPU together, and this is the anti-sag bracket itself. As far as I can tell, there are magnets, and I guess this is also how it, yeah. Well, this is actually pretty cool. This is double-sided tape, essentially. So, possibility 1, glue it to your case. Possibility 2, use the magnet. You can also see that they already put some on there. So you could basically remove this and then glue it to your case, but I will not do this because this is not permanent. I need to repurpose the case. So I will just put it like that. And apparently we will control everything with a 3-pin ARGB. We have SATA for, I guess, power. And then we have this too. Oh my, I have no freaking clue. A manual would have helped, but honestly, I don't care. We have 3-pin ARGB, and just to check something for ourselves. Yeah, okay. So we can either go with the 3-pin ARGB and then, you know, control everything with motherboard software or controller or whatever you want, or you can just plug in the SATA power to, yeah, I'm just using some random ass power supply here. And this will allow you to use it without any ARGB. So this is also suitable for anybody who does not have ARGB inside the rig in form of a motherboard controller or, you know, a regular controller. So somehow, yeah. And then you can mount it, clamp it down, and you can rest the GPU in here. Yeah, that's pretty freaking easy. You have a second one. Though I will not use it because this is single GPU mode for me, so this will be fine. Okay, so now we have all of that ARGB out of the way. We have so much RGB in here. Oh, all of these FPSs, it's going to be amazing. So okay, last step essentially today before cable managing, you know, the nice cables, is to hook up that insane amount of ARGB and PVM. I'm unsure how we will do this. This is not going to be an easy task. So we will also use one of GELID's things, the Amber 5, which is basically a ARGB controller capable of controlling 5 fans and the ARGB coming from them. That's fine. The nice part about this is that each fan has an ARGB splitter attached to them. So I could potentially run everything off a single header, though let's say it is a 1 amp header and we will, you know, draw 9 fans from it plus that stabilo thing and here and there. Yeah, I will fry that thing. So instead of frying it, I will use the controller and distribute all of the fans between each individual header. Let's say two devices per header, and that should work. Then we also got this little cable. Oh, they sent me 2 of these Amber 5s. I don't know if they anticipated me using that many fans, but yeah, that's really good. And I just didn't show it because the packaging came like, yeah. I daisy-chained an RGB controller. So what will happen now is, this is motherboard control. It will go into the first controller, and then it will pass down to the motherboard controller, the second controller, which will then distribute it to 5 more devices. And this is freaking amazing because now, if I set this controller to be motherboard control all the time, it will always feed the signal from the first one, and no matter what I do, they will always be synchronized. Amazing. Oh boy. Oh man. And this is not all. I have 2 fans and the towel left in the back. The cables were not long enough. This, you know, this is what you need to do if you want, you know, those crazy FPSs. The fuck? That's what 7 PVM fans look like. What the hell? Okay, now I tidied up all of that cable management, also the nice ones here from Bitfinex, exactly. But now it's finally time to click that button and witness that FPS increase. Let's get that. That was one hell of an oomph. I guess task completed. We have the most GELID PC possible. We have 9 of those freaking stellar fans. We had a Glacier RGB on the CPU on the 12900K. And don't forget, we are talking about a very budgety cooler on top of the, I guess, most expensive consumer CPU right now. Then we have a Gigabyte RTX 3070 Vision underneath and everything on top of the Asus. I will not pronounce the motherboard name again. A few things about the GELID products. As I said in the review, I think the fans are like meh. They are okay for budget fans, but you know, don't expect the world. But for max performance, they are quite alright, especially for the price. However, I think the GPU holding bracket, that's the nice stuff. It looks clean without, you know, too much RGB in your face. I think they did a very good like middle line there. Where the cable comes out and all of that thing, I think that's pretty cool. The SSD LED RGB thing, I mean, yeah, if that's, you know, what floats your boat, great. I'm not like the RGB guy, so I think that's okay. But overall, I mean, GELID put, price-wise, they do deliver, especially the Glacier RGB. I mean, you can say what you want about the Stellar fans, but the Glacier RGB is pretty freaking good. And I will now also prove why it's pretty freaking good for the price and for like the budgety price tag. So, I did the usual thing. I hit that thing as hard as I could with Firmark 1080p 8 MSAA. And CPU-Z benchmark test suite thingy. While letting it sit for like 10-15 minutes until the numbers equalized, we hit 88 degrees C on the CPU and about 83 on the GPU, though that being said, the CPU is like max fan speed and the GPU is just auto, do whatever you want. But for the CPU it's important. Then we have 88 degrees C. That's not only compared to the Master Liquid ML240, that's 8 degrees C below that, but it also beat the Arctic Freezer 34 Esports Duo build inside the same Montec case for 1 degree C. And then also keep in mind that the Arctic Freezer build had way better fans around the whole thing. There we used Bionics, I don't even remember if F or P, if I remember correctly, even F140s, and those are hell of amazing fans. And this one, using only like the budget price tag for everything, budget fans, budget cooler, just not budget CPU and GPU, but we beat it by a single degree. I think that's amazing. I think GELID really delivered very, very well on that Glacier RGB. Then we also did the usual benchmark thing with the 3 games I always benchmark, so you know, here. I guess that was it for the most RGB PC possible, using only GELID things and GELID thermal paste. And I mean, this thing is bright enough to, you know, I can shut down the lights. This will put it. On a small side note, those BitPhoenix cables are way better than I expected. Initially, when they contacted me about this, they were like, yeah, amazing cables, and we have like the metal coma around and everything. And I thought, okay, I mean, marketing thing, but no. Not only is the metal, the aluminum thing that is keeping the cables together, like very loosey compared to alternative products, but it is also keeping the cables separated in like a 4x4 configuration, and I think that looks pretty freaking amazing, and they did a pretty good job at this. So I really like the cables. I really liked the GPU holder for some freaking reason. Fans are meh, and the cooler is amazing. At this point, I need some name for it. GELIDATOR. Yes, that's what we are going for. So this is the GELIDATOR. I'm truly sorry for that. I guess this was the most GELID PC ever. I hope you didn't get an aneurysm when I showed you the cable management. And other than that, I'm truly sorry. But still, I believe it looks pretty freaking cool from the front. So okay, at this point, a huge thank you to GELID for sending over way too much stuff. Thank you to BitPhoenix for the cables. I mean, Montec back then even sent the case. So thank you for all those companies for helping us out on this one. And for you, if you want to keep watching, have a look at the Aurora PC that we built a couple weeks ago. That turned out pretty freaking awful because of the cooling. It basically thermal throttled, so amazing. So yeah, hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.